actually don't really believe that things are innate to begin with. Because then it's like, well, you're just telling me something that I can't change or I can't build is probably the first important question to or the first important point to suss out in that question. And I look at my own entrepreneurial journey, and I don't think I was a born entrepreneur. I think if you're going to look at innate traits, the best proxy for who is great entrepreneurs are people in grade 5 that are class clowns. And I really believe this. They're people that have never had any real respect for authority, or rules. They fundamentally don't believe that the world was built in this way because it made sense. They just kind of naturally, oh, the teacher's saying that because she wants to get on with her life. It's not like that needed to be that way. And so I think that those people become very natural because they go into the world and they're like, well, I don't know, why would your cell phone bill need to be $200? I don't know, I should be able to offer this service for $25. And why do I need to listen to this dumb rule that to have a taxi company, we need to have a giant piece of regulation around it? Why can't I build something better than that? And so I think that if you're looking for what an early prototype, it's someone that's constantly questioning the innate rules. It's why do I have to put my tray table up when the plane is landing? This is such a stupid rule. If this plane crashes, we're all going down statistically. My tray table isn't making any bloody difference in this equation. And so you look on a plane and you see who doesn't put their tray table up, and you're you're the one that's going to go build a business. And that was a good one because my dad was like, this is a dumb rule. You don't need to listen to it, Michelle. And I was like, okay. And so I think that that's the early prototype. But I actually think, and I would call those, this early ability to take risks and not listen to the rules of society and ask really good questions. Right? Class clowns are constantly asking questions that seem totally irrelevant to everything. I think that I came into school, I was a really good student. I was probably an over geek, and then I met someone in undergrad that became my business partner for the next 10 years that was huge in shaping this, and I would call him the natural class clown. He was great at selling, he questioned everything, he understood that you could win over anyone's heart with a certain amount of humor and going through it. And if I hadn't met Anatoly then, I don't think I would have ever become an entrepreneur, because it was him that was oh yeah, of course, people will take us seriously, we're 21. And I was but I think that a lot of those things can be taught, right? Ultimately, starting a business is about rolling up your sleeves and getting scrappy and understanding that you don't need, you just need to go out there and get your first customer. You don't even need to have a product at that stage. And I can't, in my whole career, we had an idea, and the first thing you do is you talk to a big company and you see if they want it, and you build something else. And so I think that part and sharing the stories of how scrappy we were and how little we had when we got our first bit of early traction is stuff that applies to any business audiences. And then people feel compelled to go get something done when they leave the room. It's okay, I don't need an approval and a this, and I'm just gonna see if we can do one pilot with one customer. And I think that that's a really important kind of get going takeaway. I think my other big takeaway is that just generally, there is way too much focus on planning and not enough focus on execution. And if you want to build great innovation, the research isn't there. It's not like you can go find it. New industries, McKinsey hasn't even written about before. There's not going to be a market size. There's not going to be a perfect playbook of what that looks like before you need to do it. And so I think that getting people off planning mode and into execution and trial and error mode is really important. And then the last part is that whether you call it trial and error, I call it innovation or iteration is innovation. It's actually just trying a lot of things a lot of time that you get that one single gem and that one single pop of something that's working. And it never looks like people think there are these eureka moments. They think that and corporations do the worst job of it because they're always the innovation lab, big ideas. And you're like, all ideas start really small.